10 years ago, a band rocked Hollywood studios. Today, this band and all of the Streetmosphere performers are no more at Hollywood studios. But they do live on, kind of, at Epcot. This band was a family of landscapers that snuck into the park and liked to rock. Axe, Buzz, Hedge, Morris, and Styx Mulch were the band Mulch, Sweat, and Shears. This band entertained thousands of guests every day and was a great band. This is their story.
Hey you, do you live in Disney World?
Nope.
Exactly. Do you wish you lived in Disney World?
No, not really.
Well, that doesn't matter. This video is brought to you by Magic Candle Company. I love these scents. I have these candles burning all the time in my office while I'm making these videos and writing these scripts. I've been a customer of Magic Candle Company for a long time. My favorite scent is probably Flying Over Africa. They are so authentic and smell exactly like the actual attraction. It's insane. I personally recommend going to magiccandlecompany.com and getting one of their bundles because you get 4 of their magical fragrances, either the candle bundles or the fragrance oil bundles. I personally love, and I know you will love them too. And check this out, I have a deal for you. If you buy any product, you can get 15% off if you use my code BigBeautifulDiz15 for 15% off your order. Just put it in the discount code. It'll work. You can save some money. And yeah, thank you so much to Magic Candle Company for sponsoring this video. Again, BigBeautifulDiz15. Go to magiccandlecompany.com. Thank you, and back to the video.
In 2003, Matt Bloodwell formed a band called Megaphone in Orlando, Florida. He's a drummer that had been writing songs for years and decided to start a band that he would front and perform these songs. Megaphone also included Paul Smith on guitar, James Woodrich on bass, and Matt Brown on drums. The band released its debut record, For Crying Out Loud, in 2005. They frequently played around the Orlando music venues like Hard Rock Live, House of Blues, and The Social. Matt Bloodwell started playing music when he was 7 years old. He learned the drums and got serious about it when he was in high school. Immediately after graduating, he formed a band and traveled around playing music. He was inspired by bands like Kiss, Rush, and Led Zeppelin. At the ages of 18 and 19, instead of college, he traveled to the East Coast playing in bars and gaining experience. For a short time, he moved to LA. He found himself back in Orlando in the late 90s and joined a few different bands before forming Megaphone. Matt's bandmate Paul Smith started playing guitar at 12. Paul was listening to 80s metal like Poison, Motley Crue, Guns N' Roses, and decided to learn the guitar. Pretty quickly in high school, he put together his first band and played the school talent show. After high school, he started working at Universal Studios and had his band on the side. One night, he went to see Seven Mary 3, an up-and-coming band at the time. A few people he knew worked for the venue, and he found himself working lights for the show that night. Seven Mary 3's manager was impressed and approached Paul after the show. He ended up going on tour with the band. Over the couple of years he toured with the band, he learned everything there is to know about being in a crew for a touring band. Eventually, he even played guitar for the band a couple years later. Matt Brown was not only a drummer, he was also a Disney cast member. He played in Megaphone as well, and one day, when he was at work at Disney, he heard about a show that they were going to be doing that they needed musicians for. At Megaphone rehearsal, he mentioned something about it to the guys and said that they should audition as a band. His reasoning being, if they got the gig, that would be great practice, and they could get tight as a band. Everyone thought it was a great idea, and they got on the phone to call and schedule an audition. Auditions for the show were held, and the band would be made of one guitar, bass, keyboard, and a singer. The bad news for Matt and the boys was Megaphone was a 2-guitar band, so Matt Bloodwell decided to audition for drums. Disney also wanted one actor to portray the vocalist. This is where Paul Secord enters the picture. He is an actor/comedian who performed at Disney previously. The reason Disney wanted musicians for a fake band they were assembling was because they were opening Lights Motor Action on the streets of America. So they wanted to have something around the park to draw guests to that end of the park, not just the new show. So they decided to put together a rock band to entertain guests and solve their problem of promoting the show. This would also be kind of a pre-show to Lights Motor Action. The stage was nearly set. The concept that Disney had come up with was a fictitious landscaping company that would sneak into the park and entertain guests in hopes of getting a record deal. The characters would all be members in a band and sneak into the park because they wanted it to lead to their big break. After auditions were held, Disney chose who would portray these characters. Morris Mulch on vocals, Axe Mulch on guitar, Styx Mulch on drums, Buzz Sweat on keyboards, and Head Shears on bass. Paul Secord was given the job as Morris Mulch. Matt was given the job as Styx. Cece Dixon was given the job as Hedge. Angelo Gennati as Axe. And Jameson Boyce as Buzz. Over the years, many musicians would portray these characters, and they usually had an A cast and a B cast. I'm not quite sure. Those were the names that I found, so I'm not sure if they were A or B cast. Matt remembers when he got the call to tell him he got the gig, he asked the person on the other line, "What's the name of the band?" They replied with Mulch, Sweat, and Shears. Mulch, Sweat, and Shears played their first official show on October 8th, 2004. The band had been performing for a few weeks before as soft openings. The band would perform 5 times a day for 5 days a week. It would later switch to 7 days a week. Mulch, Sweat, and Shears had an A show and a B show. Over time, they started adding more songs to keep the show fresh. An early setlist contained Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones, Fire by Jimi Hendrix, Are You Gonna Be My Girl by Jet, The Middle by Jimmy Eat World, I Shot the Sheriff, Walk This Way by Aerosmith, and I Fight Authority. During I Fight Authority, they would do a bit where during the middle of the song, they would do a breakdown, and the characters all got to tell jokes during the song.
What's up, Morris? I got authority problems with my mom. Yeah? Has your mom ever said to you, either eat what I cook or don't eat anything at all? Yeah, well, for the last 10 years, every time the band comes over to my place, my mom serves us leftovers. I know. 10 years of stinking leftovers. And you know what? We can't even figure out what the original meal was. I fight authority always wins.
Throughout the history of the band, their setlist would change. In 2006, the setlist included My Sharona by the Kinks, Working for the Weekend by Loverboy, 1985 by Bowling for Soup. They also had a Green Day song in the set, which was kind of interesting, because most people didn't really like, at the time, Green Day was a kind of controversial band.
Sing along. Everyone's trying, get right, get right. Everybody's working for the weekend. Come on, you know the words, sing it with us.
By 2008, they added Magic Carpet Ride and Born to Be Wild by Steppenwolf, Rock and Roll All Night by Kiss, Jump by Van Halen, We Were Rocky by Queen, You Really Got Me by the Kinks, and My Own Worst Enemy by Lit. During one of the shows, they had a funk segment. They decided to play Brick House and Super Freak in the segment. That segment was quickly scrapped when they realized what they were singing about. Disney was pretty open to them adding songs into the set. They did it pretty frequently. They did not need approval from the show director to add songs in, and they occasionally ad-libbed during the show. By this time, Mulch, Sweat, and Shears were becoming a big hit among guests. Fans would gather in the streets of America to watch the band, and they started noticing the same guest would come back over and over and over again very often. The band liked to involve guests in the performance, whether it be pulling someone from the crowd to play an instrument, or pulling kids up to play air guitar. The band rolled around in a yellow truck. The truck was altered to include a sound system and a keyboard in the bed of the truck. It was also decorated with various gardening equipment. A platform was also connected to the truck that held the drum kit, which was an electronic drum kit to control the noise, and a small platform would lower for performances. The truck was kept in a maintenance bay on the back lot behind Toy Story Mania, where Toy Story Land is now. Next to the maintenance garage is also where the dressing room were. This was a sacred space, where the band would joke around, watch movies, and hang out in between shows. Also in the green room was a list of mixed speaks, as they called it. On this list were a bunch of band names that someone had either said backstage or on set. On this list were names like Butter Monkey, Garbage Coffee, American Martian. In 2007, a new Morris Mulch made his debut. Jim Doyle is an actor-comedian in previous experience performing at SAK Comedy Lab and at Disney at the Comedy Warehouse. In 2008, Disney held auditions for subs. This is when guitarist Paul Smith, drummer Scott Smith, drummer Matt Brown, guitarist Jamie Barnes were some of the musicians given a role. Paul Smith would eventually replace Angelo Giannotti as the main act Mulch. As Mulch, Sweat, and Shears got more and more popular, so did the crowds. Not only would they perform on the street, they would also perform in front of the sorcerer hat on the stage. Mulch would pack Hollywood Studios' hub and down Hollywood Boulevard. They did special performances for 4th of July and New Year's Eve, where they had pyro on the stage and fireworks above the stage. During the guitar solo of We Will Rock You, Disney put a firework on the headstock of Paul's guitar that would go off. They also put a firework on the body of the guitar. The pyro malfunctioned one time and nearly caught the entire band on fire. Axe Mulch has played a variety of guitars throughout his career. He played a white Fender, a red Gibson, which didn't sound and feel right. Disney then bought a red Cherry Flying V, which sounded amazing, and was the best guitar he's ever played. Disney also supplied a black Flying V and a black and white Flying V, which became his #1 guitar for a while. During Christmas time, Mulch changed up their setlist to include Christmas songs. They also decorated the truck with some Christmas lights and other Christmas decorations. Their Christmas set was Wonderful Christmas Time, All I Want for Christmas Is You, Do You Hear What I Hear, and Santa Claus Is Coming to Town. Usually every Christmas Eve, Mulch, Sweat, and Shears also performed a big show underneath the hat. These Christmas shows also included new holiday jokes in the script and were a favorite of the cast. Mulch, and Shears were such a fun band to see live. As someone who did see them live, I can confirm they were in fact really good and really energetic. Like I said, Mulch quickly gained a lot of fans around the park, and this made them very popular very quickly. There was one day where a family kept coming back over and over and over again to see the show. The band noticed that the kid, who was in a wheelchair, was very happy and excited, and they also noticed that the family was very overjoyous and the joy was hard to miss. The family made sure to tell the band that they hadn't seen their son that happy in a very long time. This story obviously impacted the band emotionally and made them realize that the power of music they were playing and the importance of their job. Paul Smith remembers a time when his father came to see the band at Hollywood Studios and his brother was on drums during that show. Morris Mulch happened to pull up his other brother from the crowd to play cowbell for a song, and their father recorded it since it was all three of his sons all playing in a band together. That memory is very important to the Smith family. I saw Mulch, Sweat, and Shears in 2013 and 2015 in front of the Sorcerer's Hat. The band blew my mind. I loved the interaction with the crowd. I loved the songs they played and how they played them. They were a tight band, and every time I saw them, they were great. And I'm glad I saw them when I did, because the very next year, in September 2014, Disney announced that the studio backlot would close in a few days. And this marked the beginning of the end of classic Hollywood studios. Because at the 2015 D23, it was confirmed that Toy Story Land would be coming to Hollywood studios. This meant that Mulch, Sweat, and Shears' dressing room and garage would need to be moved. This scared a few of the members, but Disney kept reassuring them that they would keep them around because the park needed entertainment. And this statement was true until September 11th, 2015. When Disney called an all-hands meeting in the morning, where they told the band that the show would be closing in 30 days at the beginning of October. At the time, it wasn't announced to the public, but the band had to go because Disney was getting rid of Streets of America. The last Osborne spectacle of dancing lights would take place in the 2015-16 season. Obviously, Mulch, Sweat, and Shears didn't get to perform during the Christmas season that year. Later, in January 2016, it was announced that Lights, Motors, Action, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie set adventure, Studio Catering Co., and the Monsters Inc. meet and greet would all be closing. Literally all of the Streets of America would be closing for Galaxy's Edge. The park's icon, the Eiffel Tower, would also be gone. The band decided to give their all to the last performances. Each show they did, they made sure the guests had a great time and went away going, man, they were good. When October 10th came, it was time for the final Mulch, Sweat, and Shears show.
One eye in my pocket, the other one's hailing a taxi cab. That's good right there, Sparky. This is my family, and we are a bunch of landscapers. Most importantly, we're a band. We are Mulch, Sweat, and Shears! Yeah, make some noise. Because while yard work is the family business, let me tell you that hard rock is the family passion.
The Hub and Hollywood Boulevard was packed with people. Some former members of the band attended, wives and girlfriends attended, and many, many people attended. As the band was about to drive out to the Hub, bass player Cece said to the manager, "We're probably going to go a little long." And that's exactly what they did. Because usually Mulch was only supposed to play about 25 minutes. The last show lasted about an hour. The band didn't want to stop playing, and the crowd didn't want them to stop. Everyone had an amazing time, tears were shed, and it was just an amazing night. The storyline of the band was that they were sneaking into the park in hopes of landing a record deal. When Mulch, Sweat, and Shears played their last show, they announced to the crowd that a record label talent scout had seen them and signed them to a record deal. The last show was pure magic. Everyone played their hearts out, and it was bittersweet for everyone to be up there playing so great, but for just one last time.
Sound a big rock and roll ending. Jump on the count of 3, or just throw your hands in the air. 1, 2, let's make it count. 3! Make some noise! You guys are awesome. You're welcome, you. You're welcome, you. You're welcome, you. You guys are awesome. This is my family. And you guys too. We are Mulch, Sweat, and Shears! Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for rocking. Have a magical...
Almost a month after the closing, Disney stripped the truck of its PA and everything. The last time the truck was seen, it was parked near the ESPN Wide World of Sports. The current whereabouts are unknown. Right before Mulch, Sweat, and Shears closed, Matt Bloodwell was in contact with a singer named Kirk Frolick, who was in a band called the Spasmatics in Las Vegas. Kurt was moving to Orlando and wanted to form Spasmatics there. After Mulch announced its closing, Paul Smith and James Woodrich decided to join the band. A month later, after Mulch's last show in November 2015, the Spasmatics were rehearsing. The Spasmatics are an 80s pop/rock tribute band. Kurt Frolick also put together Anti-Idol, a 90s tribute band, and The Hooligans, a British rock tribute band. In 2017, the members of Mulch, Sweat, and Shears formally reunited under the name American Martian and started doing shows outside of Disney. Unfortunately, this band is really no longer active because of scheduling conflicts. Every year, Paul Smith, Matthew Bloodwell, and Cece perform in the Canadian holiday Voyagers at Epcot. Paul and Matt were also cast in Guardians of the Galaxy Awesome Mix Live in 2018. After COVID, when Disney was ready to bring back some entertainment, in 2021, they began hiring local bands to play the American Gardens Theater. The Spasmatics and the Hooligans were two bands they hired. The Spasmatics were renamed to the M80s. And the Hooligans were renamed to Command Performance. The M80s play Disney Springs often, and Command Performance play at Epcot in the United Kingdom almost every day. I'll leave their website in the description where you can check for dates. Although Mulch, Sweat, and Shears is no more, the band is still very much alive, and you can still catch these great musicians in Disney, and I recommend doing so, because they are truly great. If you catch a show, first off, rock out, and then tell him Big Beautiful Diz sent you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We got one more show tonight. We saved some of our favorites for the last show, so we'll see you at 8 o'clock.